Hello everyone. So today we are going to start with the module number 2. So module number 2 also has two parts. So the first part is basic concepts. So in this module we are going to discuss the basic constructs and conventions that are going to be used in Verilog HDL language. So throughout this subject, whatever the different type of symbols, constructs, etc. that we are going to be used, so all those are necessary constructs are going to be discussed in this particular module. So these conventions and constructs are going to be very helpful for writing the Verilog HDL programs. So it provides the necessary framework for the Verilog HDL, and also we are going to discuss the different data types that are going to be available or used in Verilog HDL, and what are the actual storages, switch elements in the hardware, etc. we are going to discuss here. So it provides the lexical conventions for the operators, comments, and different white spaces, numbers, strings, and identifiers. It provides the value set, logic value set, and data types such as nets, registers, vectors, numbers, simulation time, arrays, parameters, memories, and strings. We are also going to discuss the system task for monitoring the information and stopping and finishing the simulation. So we are going to learn the basic compiler directives to define macros and how to include the files. So first, lexical conventions. So the basic lexical conventions used by the Verilog HDL are almost similar, is very much similar with those of the C programming language. So those who are familiar with the C programming language, so they are going to easily understand these lexical conventions because the almost it analogous to the C programming language. So Verilog contains a stream of tokens. So those tokens can be comments, delimiters, numbers, strings, identifiers, and keywords. So remember, Verilog HDL is a case sensitive language. Verilog HDL is a case sensitive language. That means if you are using a keyword, if keywords are lowercase letters, you have to use lowercase letters only. You cannot switch between lowercase letters and higher case letters. So Verilog HDL is a case sensitive language. So all the keywords in Verilog HDL are lowercase letters. So you should use only lowercase letters for writing the keywords. For writing the identifiers, that is user defined names, you can use mix of lowercase letters, higher case letters, or anything that you want, but the keywords are always lowercase letters. So in lexical conventions, first lexical convention is white space. So white space, so as the name suggests, white space, either vertical or horizontal, whatever, if you are typing on the computer screen, it occupies the space, but you cannot see anything over there. It just gives the space. So such kind of characters, it's a character, such kind of characters are called as white space. So blank space, tab, and new line, so which are already we have used in C programming language also. So this blank space, slash b, tab slash t, and new line slash n are the white spaces used in Verilog HDL. So white space is ignored by Verilog except when it separates token. So white space is not ignored in strings. So if you use a white space in string, it cannot be ignored. For example, if you're writing some characters in a string, and if you use a slash n, so it goes to the next line or new line. So this is how it executes. Second one is comments. So in many programming language we have used comments. So similar to that one, here also in Verilog HDL, so comments are necessary and that can be provided to improve the readability of the code. So comments can be inserted in the code for improving the readability, and it is also used for the documentation purpose. That means, suppose if anybody else is referring your code, so he may understand very easily if the comments are included. So there are two ways to write the comments. So similar to the C programming language, here also there are two types or two ways to write the comments. So you can start the comment with the double slash. Verilog skips from that point to the end of the line. So whatever the characters, a sentence that you are going to write after the comment symbol, so those are going to be ignored by the compiler. So a multiple line comments also can be used here. So that starts with the backslash and asterisk sign and ends with asterisk sign and slash. So multiple line comments cannot be nested. So see here, so if you are using a multiple comment lines, comment line within a comment symbol within a comment symbol is not allowed. That is, nesting of comments is not allowed, but one line comment can be nested. That means within a multiple line comment if you are using, so anywhere in between you can use a single line comment. So that can be nested. So the examples are shown here. Examples: a statement is written, A is equal to B and symbol it is C. So this is some operator. So what are these operators that we are going to discuss it in the later part of the module or in the next chapters. We are studying here comments. So after that statement, the comment line is written. This is one line comment. So double slash followed by anything that you want to specify for increasing the readability or documentation, that can be written over there. So here it is written, this is a one line comment. That means, so that is a statement, that is a comment line. How to write the multiple line comment? Suppose if you want to write a comment for 2 lines, 3 lines or more than that. So if you want to write that one, so instead of writing a single line comment, what you can do is you can use slash asterisk and write whatever you want in a multiple line, then end that comment line with a asterisk sign and slash. So that is how multiple line comment is written. So that is, this is a multiple line comment. So here only 2 lines are shown. You can use more than 2 lines also, 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines, etc. So only you have to start at the starting, you have to give the symbol of the comment line, and at the ending you have to insert a symbol of the comment line. So that is multiple line comment. Next, as we have told, multiple line comments cannot be nested. So that is, example is here. So this is an illegal comment. That means already a comment line is started. So within that, again the multiple line comment cannot be preceded. So first, once you start the multiple line comment, it has to be ended only with a multiple comment line within multiple comment symbol cannot be used. So that's why it's a illegal. Using another multiple comment line within a multiple comment line. Next one, last. So this is a single comment line is nested within a multiple comment line. So you have already started with the multiple comment line. If you want to write a 4-line comment line, so within that, if you want to use a single comment line again, so that is allowed. So that is shown in the fourth example. Next, operators. So operators in Verilog are classified into 3 different types based on how many operands it is going to be used. So they are binary, unary operator, binary operator, and ternary operator. So what is the difference between these unary, binary, and ternary operator, that we are going to discuss here with the help of example. So first one, unary operator. Unary operator precedes the operand. So see here, as the name suggests, unary operator, here only one operand is available along with the operator. So first understand the difference between the operator and operand. Operator is any symbol that performs some particular operation in that particular statement. So that is the operator. For example, AND operation. For performing the AND operation, you have to use a AND operator. So that is an operator. So on operand is what? On what particular number or some character it want to do the operation. So it must be stored in some operand. So that operand must be specified within a statement. So how many operands are available? Based on that, we have classified them as unary, binary, and ternary. So in a unary operator, only one operator and one operand is used. Whereas in the binary operator is single, similar to the unary operator. Only one operator is used, but the difference is there are 2 operands. So binary operator, there are 2 operands are available between the one operator. So that is the difference between the binary and unary operator. And there are many binary operators are available. So maximum binary operators are available in the Verilog HDL. Then the last one is the ternary operator. So ternary operators are very few. Ternary operator in which there are 2 operators between the 3 operands. So see here, why ternary? The name ternary because it makes use of 3 operands between 2 operators. That's why it is called as ternary operator. So ternary operator have 2 separate operators that separate 3 operands. Examples. So first example is the unary operator. So A is equal to tidal sign B. So tidal sign is the operator and B is the operand here. So tidal sign is a unary operator because it only operates on the single operand, that is B. B is the operand and tidal sign is the operator. So as only one operand is available, it is called as unary operator. Second example, A is equal to B and C. So observe here the difference between the first example and the second example. In the first example, we have only one operand B, whereas here in the second example, we have 2 operands B, C. These are operands. In between, again, there is a single operator. Double AND is a single operator here, remember. So double AND is a binary operator. B and C are operands. So instead of that double and, you can use any other operator also here. So those are examples are binary operators. Next, A is equal to B question mark C colon D. So this is the example of the ternary operator. So observe there, question mark and colon are the two operators. So between these two operators there are three operands, B, C and D. So B, C, D, all these three are the operands. So because of three operands are used, this is called ternary operator. Next, number specification. So this is very important, number specifications. So mostly we are going to use the number conventions, number specifications that are specified or that we are going to discuss in this particular topic. So how to write the numbers in Verilog HDL, because we are using all the different type of number systems like decimal, binary, octal and hexadecimal number systems. So there are two types of number specification in Verilog. First one is the sized number specification and the second one is the unsized number specification. Unsized numbers and unsized numbers. The first one is the sized numbers. So as the name suggests, sized, so it has some particular size. So see the syntax of the sized numbers. So this is very important, syntax of the sized numbers. So that is size followed by tick mark base format, then followed by number. So this is this must be written in continuously. Size, tick mark, base format and number. So what is this size, base format and number that we are going to see? So size is written only in decimal. So what it indicates is what is the size of your number. For example, if you want to write a 4-bit binary number, so 4 is a size. So that is going to be specified in decimal, in a size. So if you want to write a 8-bit number, 8-bit binary number, so size of that binary number is 8. So in the size you have to write 8. That must be written only in decimal. So size is written only in decimal and it is going to specify the number of bits in that particular number. So remember here, it provides the number of bits, not the number of digits. It provides the number of bits. Followed by tick, as it is. Tick you have to write. Then base format. So there are 4 different base formats are available in the Verilog HDL. One is decimal, binary, hexadecimal and octal. That you have to, out of these 4, you have to specify one base format in the space available. So legal base formats, if you want to write a decimal number, either you can use a small d or capital D. It represents a decimal number. If you want to use a hexadecimal number, then you can write small h or capital H. If you want to use a binary number, for that b, small b or capital B. For octal, small o or capital O in the space provided. Then numbers. So number is specified in a consecutive digits from 0 to 9 and A to F. So any number between 0 to 9 and A to F can be provided here. So only a subset of these digits is a legal for a particular base. That means suppose if you want to write a binary number, in a binary number only 2 numbers are available, 0 and 1. So you have to write, if you are providing a base format B, so you can write only 0 and 1. If you are specifying the number this one base format as decimal, So you have to use a number between 0 to 9 only. If you are providing octal, then numbers between 0 to 7 only. And if you are using a hexadecimal number, then it is from 0 to 9 and A to F. So that's why only a subset of these digits is legal for that particular base. Suppose if you are using a octal number and if you are writing 8, 9 like this, then it is a illegal. So uppercase letters are legal for number specification. So earlier we have told that it is a case sensitive language, but for specifying the number specification you can use uppercase letters also. So the examples for the number specification. So 4 tick B 1111. So observe the syntax. We had syntax, size, tick, format followed by number. So 4 is the size here. Then tick mark, B is a base format, and we are using which base format? The binary base format. You can write either small b or capital B, both are allowed. Then 1111 is the number in binary, so it is a 4-bit number, 1111. Second example, 12 tick H A B C. So observe here, 12 is the size of the number, tick H is a hexadecimal number, then A B C is a number, hexadecimal number A B C. So each number A B C is of 4 bits. A is nothing but 1010, B is nothing but 1011, and C is 1100 in binary. So total A, B and C together it is 12 bits. So that's why 12 bit H A B C. Then 16 tick D 255. So 16 is the decimal size, D is a decimal number, and 255 is your number. So 255 in the 16-bit size it is going to be accepted. Now we have seen a number specification, sized numbers. Now we will see the unsized numbers. So what is the difference between the sized number and unsized number? So in the numbers that are specified without a base format, that is specifications are decimal numbers by default. So without the size, actual size, we are not going to provide any size here. So that's why it is called as unsized numbers. If you write directly a number here, then by default it is a decimal number. You can provide a base format if you want to write other than the decimal number. So numbers that are written without a size specification have a default number of bits, that is simulator and machine specific, and that must be at least 32 bits. That means if you are not providing any size, then by default it is machine specific and the simulator specific, which is going to be at least 32 bits. Suppose even if you want to write a 1-bit number, but it occupies a 32 bits, the memory space available is 32 bits for the unsized numbers. So unnecessarily it consumes more memory, the unsized numbers. For example, 23456. So 23456 is a decimal number by default, because here size is also not specified and the base format is also not specified. When the base format is not specified, it is a default, by default it is decimal number, and even though the number is of lesser bits, it is going to occupy 32 bits in the memory. Second example, tick HC3. So size is not provided here, that's why by default it is 32-bit number. So but base format is provided. Base format is hexadecimal number. So hexadecimal number C3. So C3 is only 8 bits, but it occupies 32 bits in the memory. So this is a 32-bit hexadecimal number. Similarly, octal number 21. So 21 is represented with only 6 bits. 2 is represented as 010 and 1 is represented as 001. But if you, as you are using an unsized number, it occupies 32 bit in a memory. So it is a 32 bit octal number by default. So until now we have used numbers or alphanumeric numbers like A, B, C, D, E, F. So other than these values are also available. So as we are modeling some real digital circuits. So in the real digital circuits we may have some unknown values or also high impedance values. So those can also be modeled. That's why X or Z values can be used here. So Verilog has two symbols for unknown and high impedance values. So these values are very important for modeling the real circuits. So real digital circuits can have these values also, unknown values and high impedance values. You might have come across with the unknown values and high impedance value during the digital electronics subject. So an unknown value is denoted by a symbol X and high impedance value is denoted by the symbol Z. For example, 12 tick H13X. 12 is the size of the number, H is a hexadecimal format, then H3X. So 12 bit hexadecimal number. Out of that, 4 bits are unknown, that is last 4 bits are unknown because X is an unknown value. Each hexadecimal number is of 4 bits. That's why 4 unknown bits are available here. Second example, 6 tick HX. So 6 bit hexadecimal number, all the 6 bits are unknown here. 32 bit tick BZ. So binary number which is of 32 bits in size. So it is a high impedance value Z. So all the 32 bits are represented with Z. So how to write this? 32 tick BZ. This is a high impedance value. So an X or Z sets 4 bits for a number in the hexadecimal base, 3 bits for a number in the octal base and 1 bit for a number in a binary base. So as we have already discussed, so binary has only two values, 0 and 1. So 1 bit is of single bit. Then octal numbers can be represented from 0 to 7 with 3 bit numbers, whereas hexadecimal number from 0 to 10, 0 to 9 and A to F can be represented with 4 bit binary numbers. That's why when you are using these formats, these base formats, and if you are using a X value, that is unknown value, or Z value, that is high impedance value, then as per the base format they are going to take 4 bits for hexadecimal number, 3 bits for octal number and 1 bit for the binary number. If the most significant bit of a number is 0, X or Z, the number is automatically extended to fill the most significant bits. Remember here, if the most significant bit of a number is 0, X or Z, the number is automatically extended to fill the most significant bits respectively with the same numbers 0, X or Z. So this makes it easy to assign X or Z to whole vectors. So you are going to understand this one when you get some results. If the most significant digit is 1, then it is also 0 extended. So even though if the most significant number is 1, then also the 0 is extended up to fill the remaining size. The next one is the negative numbers. Negative numbers can be specified by putting a minus sign before the size for a constant number. So remember here, a negative numbers can be specified by putting minus sign before the size for a constant number. So size constants are always positive by default. Size constants are always positive. Remember here, size cannot be negative because size can be 1, 2, 4, 8 like this. It cannot be negative. That's why size constants are always positive. It is illegal to have minus sign between the base format and the number. So as we have studied how to represent the size numbers, in that size tick followed by base format and number. You cannot write the minus sign between the base format and number. You have to write the negative sign or minus sign before the size. An optional signed specifier can be added for a signed arithmetic. So the example is written here, minus 6 tick D3. So here leave the minus sign 6D3. 6D3 size followed by the base format and 3. So, but as the minus sign indicates, the size is not minus 6 here. It is the number 3 which is of negative. That is 8-bit negative number as 2's complement of 3. So it is actually a minus 3 in decimal. Minus 6 tick SD3. This is used for performing a signed integer math. So see the illegal format of a negative number. 4 tick D minus 2. This is illegal. You cannot use like this. That minus sign must be before the 4, size 4. 4 is actually a positive number only, but if you want to write a minus 2, the minus sign must be written before 4. That is before the size. Next, underscore characters and question mark. An underscore character, that is the underscore character is shown how to write, is allowed anywhere in the number except the first character. So you are allowed to write or to use the underscore character anywhere except the first character. Underscore characters are allowed only to improve the readability of a number and are ignored by Verilog. So as you may have experienced of writing very large binary number. Suppose if you want to write a 12-bit or 16-bit binary number. So if you write all the 12 bits or all 16-bit binary number continuously without putting any underscore, it will very difficult for reading. That's why if you put a underscore in between after some particular numbers out of 12 bits or 16 bits, it will increase the readability. You can just differentiate between the different binary numbers. That's why you can use the underscore. A question mark is the Verilog HDL alternative for Z in the context of numbers. So as we know that the Z, that is high impedance value, is used for modeling a real-time circuits. So instead of using Z, you can also make use of a question mark. The question mark is used to enhance the readability in the case X and case Z. So case X and case Z, we are going to study it in the later part of the subject. So these are the keywords. Case X and case Z statement where the high impedance value is a don't care condition. Note that question mark has a different meaning in the context of user defined primitives. So all this we will come across later part, but only thing you need to know is here we are mentioning underscore character can be used, also question mark can be used in the numbers. Examples. So see here 12-bit number is available in a binary format. So instead of writing underscore, if you write all the 12 bits continuously, it is difficult to read. That's why if you put underscore in between after 4 bits or whatever you want, it will increase the readability. So 1111 underscore 0000 underscore 1010. So just to improve the readability, underscore is used. 4-bit binary number question mark question mark. That means it is equivalent to the question mark is nothing but high impedance value z z. Instead of writing z z, you can also write question mark. So remaining lexical conventions we will discuss in the next class. Thank you for watching the video.